So I'm glad that you mentioned money because that's a concept that money's been around since the dawn of humanity, most likely. Um, but if you really zoom in on things at this point, money is just worthless pieces of paper because what happened was there was the golden standard until the 1970s, right? So money is supposed to be this energy that we are exchanging with each other. But the golden standard went away in the 1970s. So since then, they have been literally just printing pieces of paper. And
Hey, get out of here. Sorry.
the last time I checked was about 10 years ago. Every dollar that was printed was actually worth about 8 cents. So at this point, the US dollar is almost worthless. And not only that, but real money, like paper money, is disappearing. So we are becoming slaves, all of us, to the computer. Because at this point, everything is becoming just a number on the screen. So and that's the other thing, that the banks don't even have the money that they're giving us. They don't even have them. Whenever, for example, if we buy a house, whenever we sign those dotted lines, whenever we use our signature, the promise that we're going to pay that back, that's when money is created. So it's a never, that money can never be repaid. Because the other thing is, the Federal Reserve is private. There's 3 or 4 entities, from what I know, that own it, and they print out the money with interest. In order for that to be repaid back, they need to print more money. So by default, the money can never be paid back. So it's a never-ending circle, and that is how the 1% enslaved the 99%. The other thing is, I don't know if you guys had heard of the Georgia Guidestones. And some people may say, conspiracy theories, this and that, but when you really look at what's going on, these are not just theories. That's what's happening. And they blew up the Georgia Guidestones, but the first thing on the Georgia Guidestones was that the human population needed to be reduced to 500 million people. And that is a number that is there so that the elite can control the rest. It's more manageable number for them. Now, so they used, poisoning the food, the water, the air, with all kinds of things. We're eating garbage at this point with all the GMO and everything else that's in the food. It's all garbage, and the medical system, don't even get me started on that. It's horrible. And their motto, from what I know, is to treat and manage. It's not to cure diseases, it's to treat them and manage them. So the medical system is a business as well. Now, what we had in 2021 was COVID. And COVID was just it was a warm-up for what's happening at the end of this year. Whether it's going to be a more deadly virus, or they're going to start chipping people, like having real chips, that I don't know. They may very well have both. But that was COVID was a warm-up to see how would we react to all that. And so, I mean, we can sit here and talk about issues all day, but really, what is the solution to all that? And it was maybe a year ago, I was meditating, and I saw that in the higher dimensions, in what they call heaven, what, you know, people, religious people, Christians call heaven, um, which, you know, I grew up as a Christian, so I totally get it. But yeah, so the higher dimension, in the higher dimensions, there is no money. There's no need for money because everything is exchange of energy. Meaning, it's everything is based on love and compassion for one another, and for, you know, the divine being that's in each one of us. So, for example, your house gets destroyed, you know, and you need a new house built. Well, the whole community gets together to help you build a house, and then that's kind of how it was. I've talked to a neighbor of mine. He's 90 something years old. He told me that's how things work. You know, everything was communal. Um, so this is the society that, um, and I feel like, I don't feel like it, and I'm pretty convinced that that's why all this is happening, to force us to implement the universal laws and to finally start treating each other with the respect and the kindness and compassion that, you know, Jesus and the Buddhas and Muhammad and Moses and all the other prophets have been talking about for thousands of years, you know. And there's enough people um, around who can implement that system. Of course, it's going to be a global effort. It's not going to be something that, um, you know, like 10 people we can do. We can't do that. It's going to be more of a collective effort. I hope that you guys are enjoying the chickens as much as I am. But so the globalists, they're going to use money and inflation. They can, I mean, they what happens is they create a financial crisis every 10, 15 years, and they pretty much, whatever we have saved and what we have worked towards, they come in and they swoop it all in. And so, you know, we're left with nothing. That's the whole goal, by the way, for us to work our whole lives and at the end to have nothing. And the biggest thing right now is with real estate ownership. They don't want anybody to own anything, but for people to be happy. Rent has gone up, what, twice, 3 times, something like that. So money is just a tool that they're using to control us, and basically um, the way we counter that is we use real effort and real values, the real values that we have all been taught, hopefully as kids. And the only way that we can accomplish all that is by many of us standing up together and saying that we're just not willing to participate in the system that they have created for us. Because there's 8 billion people on Earth, there's plenty of resources for all of us. That's the other thing. Jacques Fresco, if any of you guys want to look him up, he, since the 70s, he had been working on the Venus Project. Anybody heard of the Venus Project? No? Well, so basically what he's saying is that we have enough resources, if humanity combines all of its resources, um, we have enough resources for everyone to share all that.
Okay.
And of course, it's not going to be easy to make that happen. But it will be a much more fair system than what we have now, where 1% are basically using probably 80% of the resources out there. And the globalists are telling us not to have kids and that there's no more room and that we're overpopulated and all that, but at the same time they're having 3, 5. Elon Musk is having 11 kids. So they're not implementing what they're telling us. This is just for us, people who don't have the gazillions of dollars, available. The rules are different for them. The rules don't apply to them. They apply to everybody else. So how do we make that happen? I have a couple of ideas. I don't have all the answers, but I do know that and this is just the start of a bigger discussion of how to make things, how to achieve things together. Because, like I said, none of us can accomplish it on our own. It's going to be a collective effort to make it happen. But for starters, if we find a way to eliminate money within the community that we have, I think that'll be a good start, with where we are each helping each other with whatever we can to make all these things and to share the gifts that we all have. Again, I don't have all the solutions. I invite you guys and anybody who's watching this to come in and share, but we will have to, we'll be forced to come up with something, because about a year ago I was shown that at the end of this year they're going to implement something that was like a form of fascism that is worse than what happened during World War II and really anything that has happened until now. And for the next 10 years or so, things are going to be, us humans, we're going to go through quite a trial. So this is why I'm sharing all this, so that we can start joining with other people and looking things up and start connecting with each other to where we can form a global community that's working together to bring solutions to people. So what I do know is that is totally implementable, and that a lot of us are here with that purpose, and it's not an accident and a coincidence that we're here together meditating, connecting with the source to make all this happen and live in a planet that is fair to most people. It can never be fair to everybody, but we live in a more just system than we are living now, where a very small percentage get to have almost everything, and the rest, it's kind of good luck. So like I said, this is just the beginning of a much bigger conversation, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.